radio like no other. Tune in and discover these flavors. Simply relax, close your eyes, and enjoy the sound. Get it into your system. Diamond 88.7 FM. Radio like no other.
What did I say, huh? What did I say? Told you no touchy. Now you suffer the bite of the lion, the clenching jaws of an alligator.
No touchy, especially not a fan of Diamond FM. Don't touch that radio set.
From the news desk of Diamond 88.7 FM in Ilorin, this is News in the Hour.
In the headlines, federal government raises gas price to power firms from April 1. On Easter celebrations, military orders troop alert, confirms U.S. support. Crisis deepens in Kwara NUJ as correspondents Chapel cut ties. On the foreign scene, India begins world's largest population census. And in sports news, Otele delighted to make Super Eagles' debut against Jordan. Good afternoon and thank you for staying with us on Diamond 88.7 FM. Ilorin, this is the news on the hour. I am Bisola. Oduwole Suleiman. We'll bring you details of the news after this break. Please stay with us.
We've all heard about home fires taking lives and destroying all that a family owns. These tragedies are reminders for us to double-check for fire safety. Make sure your home has properly installed and working smoke alarms. Practice a fire escape plan. Never leave cooking food unattended for long. Teach children never to hide but leave if there's a fire. Switch off all electrical appliances when not in use. In cases of fire, remember, the most important thing to do is to protect lives first.
This message is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin.
Welcome back from that break. Please note that you can listen to us via our website www.diamondfm.net or watch us live on Facebook at Diamond 87 FM and YouTube Diamond FM. Ilorin. Now the news in detail. The presidency has stated that President Bola Tinubu's Naira for Crude initiative has protected Nigeria from fuel shortages affecting many countries amid the ongoing Iran-Israel-US conflict. According to the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Temitope Ajayi, the policy has ensured steady petroleum supply despite global disruptions. Ajayi explained that the initiative, approved in July 2024 and launched in October 2024, has kept Nigeria insulated while several nations across Europe, Asia and Africa grapple with long fuel queues and scarcity. He noted that the policy has strengthened supply stability within the country. The presidency attributed the global crisis to the escalating Middle East conflict and Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The federal government has increased the price of natural gas supplied to power generation companies to $2.18 per metric million British thermal unit MMBTU, effective April 1, 2026. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) announced the new rate in a circular, reflecting a $0.05 increase from the previous $2.13 per British thermal unit. The regulator also set the domestic base price for gas at $2.18 per British thermal unit, while commercial users will now pay $2.68 per British thermal unit, up from $2.63 per British thermal unit. The development is expected to further strain Nigeria's power sector, with generation companies already facing gas supply challenges linked to unpaid debts. An Abuja High Court on Wednesday vacated a bench warrant it issued on March 26 for the arrest of the factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Kabiru Turaki. Justice Peter Kekemeke vacated the arrest warrant while ruling on an oral application by Turaki's lawyer, Chris Uche, SAN, following Turaki's appearance in court. When the case was called, Uche apologized to the court for his absence on the last date. Uche, who claimed to be out of the country, said he returned earlier today and headed straight to the court. He also apologized on behalf of his client, who he said is a senior advocate and has the highest regards for the court. In Kwara State, the chairman of the Kwara State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Bishop Oduwole, has called on citizens to remain vigilant as security challenges persist across the country. In an interview on Editors Hangout and Diamond FM, he assured Nigerians that the government is making significant effort to tackle insecurity and restore safety nationwide. Speaking on the controversial issue of state policing, the cleric expressed support for its establishment, noting that localized security outfits possess better knowledge of their communities. He acknowledged concerns about potential misuse by politicians, but maintained that state police could enhance grassroots security if properly managed. Bishop Adewale also cautioned citizens against carelessly sharing sensitive information, stressing that such actions could endanger lives. He urged Nigerians to report suspicious activities to security agencies and work collaboratively with authorities to strengthen efforts aimed at curbing insecurity. The Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, has condemned the alleged role played by religious leaders in the recent attack in Plateau State. On Sunday, suspected bandits attacked Angwan Rukuba community in Jos North local government area of the state, killing about 28 people and injuring many others. In a statement on Tuesday, Baba Usman Engel Zalmar, Makban president, condemned the tragic loss of lives, accusing religious leaders of inciting repeated violence in the state through reckless and inflammatory rhetorics. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and NPCL will allocate 7 cargoes in May to Dangote Refinery, an increase from the 5 allocated in previous months. A top source at the National Oil Company confirmed the development to newsmen on Wednesday. On March 25, David Bird, Chief Executive Officer of the Dangote Refinery, said the plant was expected to receive about 13 to 15 crude cargoes every month under the Crude for Naira program, but currently gets only 5. Still in Kwara, a fresh crisis has erupted within the Nigeria Union of Journalists (NUJ) in Kwara State following the decision of the Correspondence Chapel to suspend all forms of relationship with the State Council. The resolution was announced in a communique issued after the chapel's monthly congress held in Ilorin, citing the need to protect the integrity of its leadership and members. The chapel said the move was triggered by the State Council's refusal to recognize its leadership despite what it described as a constitutional and widely accepted election held on November 1, 2025. He added that multiple interventions by key stakeholders, including government officials and the NUJ national leadership, failed to resolve the dispute, further deepening tensions between both bodies. As part of its resolutions, the chapel also announced a boycott of all press conferences and media-related activities organized by the State Council until further notice. And that's it on the local scene. The news on the hour is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM in Lauren. We take a short break. When we return, we bring you foreign and sports news. In foreign news, South Africans react as fuel prices surge despite tax relief. We'll bring you that story after the break. Please stay with us.
Wait, he's from our tribe, and we have this.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Diamond 887 FM. Diamond FM, shining supreme.
Welcome back from that break. You're still tuned in and listening to the news on the hour, reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM. Lauren, before that break, we brought you local stories. Now we move on to the foreign scene. In foreign news, the motorists in South Africa voicing frustration after a sharp rise in fuel prices, even as government introduced a temporary tax cut to ease the burden. Authorities announced a reduction of the general fuel levy by 3 rand per litre, a measure aimed at cushioning the impact of soaring global oil prices linked to the Iran war. However, the relief has done little to offset one of the steepest pump price increases on record. In Johannesburg, drivers say the rising cost of fuel is hitting hard. Kasgiso Nyokolodi, a motorist in the capital city, expressed frustrations with the price of transport, while others acknowledged the government's effort but said it falls short of what is needed. Still in foreign news, more than 3 million officials in India have begun the world's largest national population count in a year-long process that could reshape welfare programs and political representation across the country. The census, which was delayed in part by the COVID-19 pandemic, began on Wednesday and will end by March 31 next year. Census workers will spend about a month collecting information from homes and will document housing stock and living conditions. Information will be collected through in-person surveys and online, allowing residents to use a smartphone application. And that's it on the foreign scene. In sports news, Hamburg winger Philipp Oduwole has shared his excitement after making his debut for the Super Eagles on Tuesday. Oduwole featured in the Super Eagles 2-2 draw against Al Nashama of Jordan on Tuesday night. The winger replaced Frank Onyeka in the 89th minute of the encounter. The Hamburg star, alongside Emmanuel Fernandez and Yira Collins, all made their debuts for the Super Eagles during the Four Nation Invitational Tournament. Oduwole said it was a good moment for him and his family. Still in sports news, Victor Osimhen has returned to training with Galatasaray after undergoing surgery for an arm injury. Osimhen sustained the injury during Galatasaray's UEFA Champions League clash with Liverpool 2 weeks ago. The Nigerian international underwent surgery last week and is expected to be out of action for around 1 month. The striker has now stepped up his recovery from the injury, according to information available on the club's official website. And that's it in the exciting world of sport. With that, we've come to the end of the News on the Hour for today. But before we go, here is a recap of the major highlight. Presidency, Nigeria for crude policy shields Nigeria from global fuel prices. Federal government raises gas price to power firms from April 1st. CAN urges vigilance amid rising insecurity in Kwara. Crisis deepens in Kwara NUJ as Correspondence Chapel cuts ties. And on the foreign scene, South Africans react as fuel prices surge despite tax relief. And in sports news, Otele delighted to make Super Eagles' debut against Jordan. And those are the major headlines as brought to you this afternoon. Before we wrap up the news, we take a look at our Today in History segment. Did you know that on this day in the year 1939, the Spanish Civil War officially ended as General Francisco Franco declared victory, ushering in decades of dictatorship in Spain? Now you know. For news coverage or information about happenings around you, kindly contact the Diamond FM newsroom number on 091-606-27526, 091-606-27526. Do join us at 3 p.m. for the news flash and at 5 p.m. for the news across the world. For a comprehensive bulletin, log on to our website, www.diamondfm.net, to keep up to date with us from any part of the world. Download our app on Google Play Store and iOS Apple Store, Diamond FM. The news on the hour was put together by Adeyemi Adewale. I am Bisola Oduwole Suleiman. Thank you for listening to your shining supreme station. Please stay tuned for the news in Yoruba coming up shortly. Good afternoon and have a wonderful rest of the day.